Hi. I was talking to a friend of mine and we were talking about political views, and I mentioned to her that it seems like everybody has an island mind where the world revolves around what they think and their own point of view. And I went on to illustrate that in the fact that you can live on an island and people can come and visit you for a while, but then they want to go back to their own home, and their own home is an island somewhere else. And so it was kind of an illustration of how closed-minded people are, because so many people are focused on being left-sided or right-sided, liberal or conservative or whatever. And the people, when you get to being that way, when you're so far left or you're so far right, you tend to get really angry with your views, because the way of the world is simply that I believe what I believe and you should believe it too. And if you want to state that you have a different belief, you can't say that. But don't you dare tell me that I can't say how I feel, because you're going to try to oppress me, and that's not okay. Well, honestly, that is a very closed-minded view, but it is a view of the multitude of people nowadays, and that's a sad thought. It's really sad that that is the way that the world is nowadays, that we are so closed-minded and we're living in these islands and we think that we're social, but we are just as social as a hermit. I mean, we live on social media. We thrive on how many likes that we can get, how many follows that we can get, and we think that that makes us somebody, but it really doesn't. It really doesn't, because for many years, people lived lives without social media, and they did a great job of it. You know why? They conversed with people, and they got their likes from talking to the neighbor next door. But nowadays, you go into a restaurant and you see families sitting at a table, a group of 4 people, and there's 4 phones in front of each person's face. A phone in front of each person's face. That's what I meant. So instead of eating together and conversing together and socializing and enjoying the time together, they're enjoying their phone and they're talking to somebody who knows where, because they're on social media. If for one day or 1 week, if all of the social medias was to go down, because that's probably the only way that people would do this, if for 1 day or 1 week all of the social media was to go down, would that bring our islands closer together, and would that open our minds, because we would have a moment where we would have to speak to each other? I mean, what brought this all on was years ago, when September 11th happened and the towers fell down. On September 12th, I read an article about September 12th. Not talking about September 11th, but September 12th. How the world bonded together, and we were all Americans that were sad because something tragic had happened. If we could have that mentality every single day, that might bring our islands closer together too. Not that I would want a disaster to happen to make it happen, but it would be really nice if people could pull together and realize that we're all human, we all have feelings, and we shouldn't be so stuck up in our own feelings that that's all that we care about. Because that's what closed-minded is. And from closed-mindedness comes racism and all of the other things that we call toxic, that we wish weren't here, but we don't want to let go of our closed-mindedness. And until we do, all of the toxicness of the world will still be there. It's a sad fact, but it's a truth. I wish that all of us that think that we want to live on an island and be closed-minded on our little islands and think that this is the life that we should live, if we could just open up our minds and realize that that is not the mentality that we need to have, then I wonder, can we bring those islands closer together so that it becomes a continent and we all care about one another again? Where we become the USA and not an island of 1 billion people that's just caring only about themselves. Can we do that?